y'all, it's K Divine. Coming back with my part 4 to my series of Who Set Me Up. This one is going to focus on my narcissistic family. I want to start off this video by saying, I did say, I think in one of my previous videos, I think the first one, that my stepdad gave me a poem back when I was about 10 years old. And if you want to go look it up, you can go Google it. It says, it's called Being Black in the Workplace. And the poem starts off by saying, they take my kindness for weakness. They take my silence for speechless. They call my uniqueness strange. They call my language slang. Go look up that poem. It might resonate for some of you as well. And, but that was given to me when I was like 10 years old. And I don't know why. But what I believe now is that, my mom's ex was a pastor, or what really a false prophet. And we were around a lot of different ministers and pastors and things of that nature because we were just in that network. So I don't know if I don't know if they went to someone or someone came to them and told them, like this one, your child here, she's going, this is something that's going to happen to her. I don't know what avenue they went through to get this information, but I wholeheartedly believe that my mother knew that this was going to happen at some point in my life. Because things were the way that everything happened was way too perfect, as far as like everything, like boom, 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 boom. Like when I tell y'all, I was getting hit every single corner of my life at the same time. It didn't make no sense. It didn't make any sense at all. Every single corner of my life. Because like I said, it was like my job. People started harassing me at my job. I was being harassed at my apartment complex. My ex started acting weird when we was together. My family started acting weird towards me. Everybody started acting weird. And I was like, this seems like orchestrated. Like everybody just don't all of a sudden start pretending like they don't know you no more. That's not how that works. So, sorry, walking past the geese, gotta be cautious. They're a little aggressive. So just a little bit of a background when it comes down to my family. For the majority of my life, it has always just been me, my mom, and my sister. Except for that 6-7 years of her being married. It's always just been the three of us. My mom didn't ever remarry. She had boyfriends here and there, but it wasn't, they never lasted. So, like I said, it's always just been the three of us. My mom is a narcissist. She's a covert narcissist. She definitely pitted me and my sister against each other. Like it was always some sort of competition. But my mom also was like, she just was not very, she wasn't emotionally present. Like my mom did the basics. She paid the bills. She made sure we had food in the house. She paid for the internet, the cable, the cell phones. Like she did all of that. She paid the bills. But other than that, like she didn't really, at least for me, she didn't have like a real relationship with me. Like she wasn't asking me about, like, she didn't come home and say like, hey, did you get your homework done? Or anything like that. Like there was a point in time where I needed help in school. Like I needed a tutor, and my mom worked for U of M, and I was like, there's got to be somebody that you can talk to at that school that would be willing to help me, even if it was just like a couple hours out of their day or something like that. But she was just like, I can't afford a tutor. You're just gonna have to figure it out. And that's all she said to me. I never got any help. And it's not that I was like stupid or anything. It's just I had issues on it. I wasn't stupid. I'm actually I was really intelligent. I was just going through so much because as a teenager, you know, my mom, that marriage that she was in was very abusive. Now, I never saw him physically hit her, but I heard it. You can hear it. He put his hands on her before. Now, she didn't have like black eyes and stuff like that, but I don't know what, if she was covering up bruises and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I was young, you know. I was 3 when they started dating, and I was 11 when they got divorced. So I my mom was really good at hiding a lot of stuff back then from us. Like, and it's like, if he will break stuff in the house, I know he put his hands on her. But that relationship was very abusive. It really messed up my nervous system. Like, I was scared all the time. I had like the worst type of anxiety. And it's like, you got to understand, like, when you're abused from a young age, it really just, you're wired completely wrong emotionally, because you're always in fight or flight or fawn or freeze all the time. It's very rarely ever copacetic. And for me, I struggled a lot with that. And because, you know, I didn't have that relationship with my mother, I went out, you know, at a young age looking for love, and got myself in a lot of trouble doing that, you know. And I'll go into details about that later. But, you know, I was always chasing this relationship with my mom. I always wanted us to be closer, you know, like, because especially like when I went off to college, you know, I called my mom so frequently. And one day I decided, I'm not going to call her. I'm going to see if she calls me. And she didn't. And we didn't talk for like over a month or so. I was so upset because I was just like, dang, my mom does not call me. She, like, if I don't call her, we don't speak. And then later on, I just started feeling bad because I was just like, well, maybe it's because I'm a bad daughter, and maybe it's because I just have so much more to prove. And then maybe if I prove what I'm, you know, that I'm a good person and that I've changed and that I'm growing, and, you know, maybe then she'll want to, you know, maybe she'll want to have this relationship with me. And so, you know, over the years, I just pushed all those feelings down and tried to have the best relationship I could with my mom. But it wasn't until I got pregnant that I really started to notice something different about her. Because the love that I was already forming for my child, I realized that my mom didn't have that for me. And I was like, how is it that I don't even know this kid yet? I haven't met her, but I just love her so much, and I would do anything for her, and she's not even here yet. And I was just like, my mom doesn't do that for me, and I don't feel like she ever will. And it really started to make me think about her behavior and how she's always been towards me. So later on, you know, I have my baby, and when I have my daughter, my mom was like, well, I want to help, and I want to be there for you. I want to help take care of her. And I was like, great. and I told her, you know, hey, you know, because my mom has had some medical issues and things of that nature. In 2022, she had a hip surgery, and she still was recovering from that. So, you know, and she was starting to have more medical issues. Honestly, I think that she just was having medical issues because she was allowing them doctors to kill her. Them doctors were putting her on all different types of medications, and like, I think the drugs were killing her. Anyways, but she was having medical issues, so I was like, I appreciate the help. You know, I'm grateful for it, especially because at the time, like, didn't really have enough for childcare and stuff like that. So, well, we were still trying to figure out childcare, I should say, and So I told her that she could, sorry, I'm just having anxiety just thinking about all this stuff. So I told her that she could do, whatever worked for her. I was like, if you, because at first she said she was going to do it every week, and this was during the summer of 2023. So every week, once a week on Tuesday, she would come and take care of my baby for me while I went to work. And it was helpful. Absolutely helpful for me, because I needed it. While I went to work, and then I'd come home, and she would stay for a little bit, and then she'd leave, and cool. When school started, fall came, September, she started doing it, I believe, every other week. But at this time we had childcare, so it worked out. So it's so sad talking about this. So eventually I started getting curious, because a whole bunch of content for like narcissists and stuff like that started popping up on my timeline, and I was just like, it made me curious. So I had asked my ex for a Kindle to like the Christmas prior to this, before I had my daughter, and I was looking up books, and I found a couple books on narcissistic mothers, covert narcissistic mothers, and I read them, and a whole new world opened for me at that point, because I was like, this is my mom. I was also in therapy at the time as well, and I was letting my therapist know about the things that I experienced with my mother and how she would make me feel, and she gave me a website that talked about the cold mother syndrome, and that explained her to a T as well. And I was like, wow, this is kind of sad, because most people, when they think about their mom, they don't think about somebody who wants to destroy them or wants to hurt them. But it's like, that's not my story. That's not the case for me. I don't have a mom that I can call on, that I can love on, that I can, tell all of my secrets to, and that's going to support me. No, my mom wants to see me crumble. My mom wants to watch me fall. Okay? And I think I might have made her upset, because I won't say I did. I made her upset because in October of 2023, after I had my daughter, like I said, after having my baby, it really started opening my eyes up to seeing my mom in a different way. Because like I said, having a daughter of my own, and just like feeling like I would give this kid the world, and I would do anything for this little tiny human. And just realizing, like, my mama doesn't treat me like this. I don't think my mom feels the same way about me that is how I feel about my daughter. And that just baffled me a little bit, because I'm just like, dang, like, you gave birth to me and you don't care about me like that. You're not interested in me. You don't want to listen to me. Like, it just baffled me. I was just like, how can you be a mother like this? And so I had went to her older sister, my Aunt Vicky. I took the baby to go visit, but I really went up there because I wanted to talk to her about my mama. So my cousin was there. We had babies a week apart. So her youngest and my daughter are the same age. They're just 1 week apart, literally. And after my cousin left with her kids, I asked my aunt, like, can I ask you about my mama? Like, I was like, has she always been like this? Like, the way that she is? Like, And she kind of gave me some insight on my mom a little bit. But then I asked her, like, what was it like growing up for y'all? Because my mom never really told me too many stories. Like, I realized one day, like, I really don't know my mom. I don't know this lady. She don't really tell me much about herself. I know what she wants me to know. So my aunt told me, like, it was terrible growing up. They grew up on the east side of Detroit. You know, one of their brothers died in their house from a gunshot wound because him and his friends were playing with my granddad's gun. And then 2 years later, my granddad has a heart attack and dies, you know, because apparently he had a heart condition. He stopped taking his meds after he felt like it was his fault that his son died, you know. So, you know, they had a lot of trauma. My granny wasn't very nice either. My aunt literally told me, like, my granny had passed away in 2021. She had dementia. My aunt told me that my granny, like, as she was kind of dying, she was telling her, like, I love you, and my aunt said that she didn't love her. Basically, is what she told me, that she did not love her. And it was because of the relationship that they had, like, because my granny wasn't supportive of them like that. My granny was checked out, like how my mama is. And I mean, granted, you know, they didn't have access to therapy and stuff like that when my granny was, you know, younger. My granny died when she was 91. Like, and I mean, trying to convince someone in their 70s and 80s to go to therapy, just, it don't really work very well. Especially someone that was born, my granny was born in 1929. There was no change in her ways, okay? There was no change in her ways. And, you know, it just goes to show, like, because my mom also had issues when it came to my granny. She always used to say things like, oh, I'm a bad daughter and all this other stuff, but she was never, like, jumping to go see her or anything either. And then I found out later on through my aunt that, you know, they had their own little tiffs often, that they went periods of time without speaking to each other. My mom later on told me some of this stuff too, but, you know, that they went through some stuff where they didn't talk often, and, like, they had all these issues with one another. And I was just like, why didn't I know this? Like, this is important for me to know, especially as a young adult. And so I was just like, okay, there's just a lot of secrets in this family. And after that, my mom started acting funny towards me. So after that visit, my mom stopped coming to take care of my daughter for me, which was fine because I had the child care. We had her in daycare full time. So the day she was supposed to come, the night before, I called her because I hadn't heard from her. And I called her and I said, hey, are you coming tonight or are you coming tomorrow at all? And she was like, no, were you expecting me? And I'm like, yeah. I said, this was your schedule that you created. You are the one that said that you were going to come every other Tuesday, and this is your other Tuesday. So what's up? And she was just like, oh, well, I have a doctor's appointment and I got to do all of that. And, well, maybe I can come next week. And, well, next week's Halloween, so let her have fun with her friends. And, well, we'll see in a couple weeks or so. And I was just like, okay, whatever, that's fine. I said, you can do whatever you want. She never came back to take care of my daughter again after that. And she lied to my sister. My sister had called me and she was like, Mom said that you said that you guys said that you don't need her anymore. And I was like, I never said that. I was like, I never said that. I was like, no one ever told her that she was not needed. So I got off the phone with my sister and I called her and I was like, did you tell Olivia that I said that I didn't need you to come help me anymore? Did you say that? And she was just like, well, I don't know. I was tired and I might have said something like that, but she was like, I don't know. And I was just like, well, I just want to make it clear. I never said that to you. You are choosing not to come. And that showed, like, that was your decision. So, and I said, I'm comfortable with you not coming if that's what you want to do. I understand. And, just, I don't know. Like, like, it's cool. And she's just like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then we didn't really talk too much after that. And that's when I started really deep diving into the covert narcissistic mother content that I kept watching and in the books that I was reading. And then I want to say like January 2024. That's when everything really started to change, because that was right around the time that I had the conversation with my boss. That's when I had started making the decision that I needed to downsize and move to a smaller apartment. And that's when my family started being weird. So when I was moving to the next apartment, I think I mentioned it in one of the last videos, my sister came and grabbed a TV from me. And a couple other items, I do believe. I can't remember what, but she came and grabbed some items from me. And her boyfriend, me, Michael, and my daughter, we went to Texas Roadhouse. Because me and Michael were already going there for dinner. And since she was on her way, I was like, she might as well just come and join us. And that was the first time that I experienced feeling negative energy from everyone at the table, except for my daughter, obviously. I didn't know what was going on. It just felt like they were all really quiet. And I was just looking at everyone like, what's going on? Like, something's off and weird. Something weird is happening here. And my sister was talking to me about one of her best friends and something that's going on in her life. And I was just like, I don't even care to hear this. I don't care to hear about your friend and her cousin and whoever is at her house and all that. I don't care. Like, I was just like, okay. Like, I just was uninterested. And I was just like, okay, something's off. I need to figure out what it is. And after that, like, I just felt so weird. My ex didn't help me move anything. The only thing he did was take care of my daughter for me, which, I mean, he parented. He did what he was supposed to do. And yeah, it just was really, really weird. Sorry about that. I had to get myself together real quick. Anywho, but that was like the first time that I realized, like I just felt like just something was off. I was like, something's weird. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then I didn't really talk to my sister much after that. She came to take care of my baby for me. I want to say it was like Martin Luther King Day or something like that. Or something. I can't really remember exactly when it was. I really can't. Not because I don't think I worked that day. It was some holiday or something. I'm not sure because we didn't recognize it at my job. That we Martin Luther King Day was not a federal holiday for us. A day off, I should say. So I don't think that was it. It was something though. I can't think of what day it was, but she did come and take care of my baby for me. And when I came back and she, we chilled for a little bit. My ex's stepmom came by to drop some stuff off for me or something, and they talked a little bit or whatever. But I was mostly talking to Gloria, so my sister, I could tell she kind of felt a little left out or whatever. But it's like after all these years of her and my mom always leaving me out, to me, I was just like, well, this is my new life or whatever. So when she left, I went into my laundry room and realized like she had thrown my stuff around. And it was really weird because it was like it was like my towels, you know. She just threw my stuff around, and I was like, this is weird. Oh, maybe it was Martin Luther King Day. I don't think it. I had to go to work, but the school was closed. That's right. I think that's what it was. Yeah, yeah. The school was closed. Her daycare was closed because they observed the holiday, and I was like, well, I have to go to work because they, they don't they don't care about Martin Luther King Day where I worked at. So and yeah, after that, I realized that she had thrown some of my stuff around, and I just thought that was weird. And then after that, I didn't really speak to her too much. And there was a point in time towards the end of January or into February or so where my ex was trying to convince me well, you only have one mom, and she's sick and she's dying, and you don't know how much longer you're gonna have with her. And he was trying to guilt me into maintaining this relationship with my mother because him and his adopted mom didn't have a good relationship. And I don't think that they were in contact, or I don't think that they had been talking very much when she passed away. This was about 9 years ago. She passed away in 2016. And so he always tries to make everyone else feel like you got to love on them now because you're not going to have them. But I was like, I do love my mom. However, I can't keep trying to pretend like I don't understand that she doesn't really care for me. I can't keep sitting here pretending like it doesn't bother me that she has this whole grandchild, and in order for me to have a relationship with her, I have to be the one to initiate all of the conversations. In order for me to have any contact with my mother, I have to do it. So I was taking his advice at first, and so I contacted my mom, and I contacted her, and I was like, hey, can I bring Mila down to bring, for the weekend or whatever. So I take my daughter down to visit, and it was the same shit that it had been. When we get there, she's like, oh, well, I didn't grocery shop and I didn't cook, so there's nothing to eat here. And, I had already planned for that. I got my own food. I fed myself. I fed my baby. I had everything together. And the the interaction was just really weird. It just but this was the first time that my sister didn't come around. She kept saying that she had stuff to do. So yeah, this had to be maybe this was closer to February, March. It had to be. Because I had just finished moving at the end of January, so it couldn't have been then. So yeah, it had to be around the end of February into March when I went to visit my mom. Or somewhere around there. I'm sorry, y'all. The dates are all kind of all over the place. It's been a long time. And everything that's happened has just kind of warped my memory in certain ways. But at some point, I want to say it was closer into the springtime. But I still think it was still kind of cool outside. That's why I think it was somewhere between February and March, maybe. Yeah, it had to be, because that was right before I started having a whole bunch of financial issues. Because it was already starting, but it was right before all that stuff started to happen. So my sister didn't come visit. And I remember this visit specifically because Like I showed my mom the Barbie movie when it, when it was on HBO, like right after it, like, came out or whatever. And like I enjoyed the visit in certain ways, but it just felt empty. Like it just didn't feel legit. It didn't feel it didn't really feel like she wanted us there. And my mom, played with my daughter and everything, and it was cool kind of seeing them together. But even like, well, I would like leave to go get something to eat or something like that. For some reason, I would just worry, like, leave you you should not have doubts about what your mom might do to your daughter when you're not around. And I just had this uncomfortable feeling. Like I just did not feel comfortable with my baby being with her for long periods of time, even though it's like before she had taken care of her. But I mean, even then I would check in on her and call and be like, is everything cool, is everything fine, but something just in me was just like, I can't, something's wrong, and I don't know what it is. So my sister didn't come to visit, which I thought was weird. I let her slide on that. Oh, she got this to do and she got that to do. She got to go work. Okay, whatever. So when me and my baby go back home, I just started thinking like, okay, how am I going? How am I gonna get through this? Because I don't know how to. I was like, I don't want to cut ties with my mom, but I don't know if this relationship is going to be worth it, if we're going to be able to work something out, because it doesn't seem like we are. Because if I got to do all this work, then I don't know. So after that, I go into another state where I'm talking to my therapist and I'm like, I have this visit with my mom. It wasn't bad or anything like that, but, I'm just like, when am I going to, like, I was like, maybe this will be a step in, well, at first I thought it was going to be a step in the right direction. I thought. But then my baby's first birthday came. And my mom came down and my sister came down to her little dinner. We went out to dinner. And my mom was dog whistling me. And anybody who understands what so y'all know what a dog whistle is. It's a whistle that's at such a high frequency that the human ear can't pick it up, but a dog's ear can pick it up. And what narcissistic people and toxic people will do is dog whistle, where they will like intimidate you or like, abuse you in some way, but it's not visible to other people. It's only known to you and your abuser. And what my mom was doing, so when I had first gotten my locks, I wish I had the pictures of my baby locks. I will show y'all. My mom didn't really like it, and she was just like, well, if you like it, which is what my granny would say when she didn't like something. And I was just like, oh, wow. Okay. Like, I was like, it didn't matter to me whether she liked it or not. I liked my hair. And one of Michael's cousins, one of his little cousins, she had recently just started to lock her hair, even though she didn't keep it. But at the time, she had just started locking her hair. And my mom leans over to me while we're waiting, because we were waiting to be seated because Michael hadn't arrived yet. And she leans over to me and she's like, her hair is really pretty. And I was like, damn. I was like, when I got my hair locked, you had everything negative to say, but now her hair is really pretty. And I was just like, that's fucked up. And I knew exactly what was going on. So, excuse me. After that, and I talked to my therapist about it, and I was just like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand. And then, like, I didn't really hear from her. So I just stopped calling her. And I focused on what I needed to focus on. I focused on trying to get through work while they was harassing me and doing all that stuff. And I was focused on, trying to just trying to figure out like how I was going to navigate this. And so some weeks went by and she noticed that I hadn't really called her or anything. And then she started trying to butter me up. Like, oh, look at all that hair. And you look good. You look pretty. And she's like, well, then she started apologizing for stuff. Like, I had told her at one point that it was really traumatizing for me, for her telling me when I was little. Like, she used to say to me, this Kayla is broken. I'm going to get a new one. And I told her, like, that was, like, traumatizing because I literally used to think as a tiny child that there was another version of me somewhere and that she was going to swap us out and that I was so unwanted. And she apologized for it, but it was so disingenuous. She was only saying that because she just wanted me to come back or whatever. And this was at the same time that one of my aunts, my Aunt Phyllis, my Uncle Harold's wife, that's my mom's brother that she's the closest with in age. Plus, they kind of look like twins. I hadn't been speaking to her because she was always disrespectful, and I just didn't want a relationship with her. She tried to send me some stuff for my daughter, and it's like I didn't ask her for anything. She was sending stuff to me, and it's like I didn't give her my new address. My mom gave her my new address, and I didn't appreciate that. So I didn't want to talk to any of those people because I was like, I'm not dealing with them. And so my mom started trying to butter me up and stuff, and so I tried to give her the opportunity to. I was like, all right. I told her, I was like, listen, I want you to have a relationship with your grandchild, but I'm not doing the work for you. I'm not gonna call you so that you can talk to her. Like, if you want to talk to her, if you want to see her, you need to let me know. I said, you don't have to come and you don't have to drive down to visit. I can drive to you, but you need to let me know when you want it to happen. I don't want to keep having to make all the plans. Like, cause what's the point in that? And so she's like, okay, I understand. Like, and so we tried, and she came down for Mother's Day in 2024 last year. She came down for Mother's Day, and we were okay at first. I was very uncomfortable though. Like, I had anxiety, and I just felt so uncomfortable with her being there. And I just kind of let her talk, and and we were having a decent little conversation, but then she did something. She called my Aunt Vicky on the phone, and she put her on speaker out of nowhere. And my sister did not come with her at all. My sister had to work. She has to work at the church and all this other stuff. Again, all these excuses of not being able to come and see her niece. Because it's like, at the very least, come see your niece. But my mom let her know, like, oh yeah, well, because my aunt said, oh, I hear it. She was like, is that Mila I hear in the background? And she was like, yeah, I came down to Kayla's, and I'm here now. Olivia's not here. She's, she had to work at the church or something like that. And then my aunt says, well, at least you get to spend time with one of your daughters. And I was like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Like, my mom knew she was going to say some. It was clear to me that my mom had been talking shit about me to my family. And so then my mom was like, well, Kayla's right here. Say hi, Kayla. And I was like, bye. Then my aunt wants to quickly get off the phone. She's like, oh, well, I don't want to keep y'all. So I'll talk to y'all later. And I'm just like, wow. And when my mom put her phone down, she had the nastiest, evil little smile. Like, she was so happy. It's like anything that she could do to try to hurt my feelings, like, is what her main goal was. And after that, I was like, so I did my best to get through the rest of the visit. I sent her off. I walked her to her car, made sure she got in good, told her to let me know when she got home. And after that, I was just like, I'm done talking to this lady. I talked to my therapist about it. And I was like, I think I'm just going to take a break from her. And after that, yeah, I didn't really speak to her. My mom pulled up on me a few months later in July out of nowhere. And she looked like she was coming from the hospital or something. I think she was at U of M hospital. And she's just like, why won't you talk to me? And I was just like, what do you mean? Because like at this point she had tried to call me a couple of times and I just didn't answer. She left me a voicemail. I was like, Kayla, I really need to talk to you, like please call me back, like all this sad shit. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. Because I was just like, you don't care about me and I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of trying to fight you to see me. And like, I don't know what you're saying about me behind my back at this point, because everybody seems to be acting so strange towards me. No one's calling me, and I just had a baby, and no one's calling me and checking on me. No one's concerned or anything. Like, I'm like, that's just mad weird and messed up from people who claim that they love me, but no one is helping support me. And it's not like I'm asking for money, but I just wanted people to call and check in. I just wanted moral support. Like, yes, I was struggling financially, but I didn't ask any of those people for money. I really just wanted moral support. I wanted people to call me and tell me that I was doing a good job. I wanted them to call me and tell me like, "Hey, you're a new mom and I get it, but listen, you're doing great. You're I understand it's a struggle, you know, but you're doing fine." I just wanted people to call and give me words of affirmation and motivation. That's all I wanted. I wasn't looking for a handout or nothing like that. So, I kind of had it out with her. I didn't cuss her out or nothing, but I was just like, I asked her straight up, do you even like me? She didn't answer. And I told her, like, I love you, but I don't, like, but it seems like you don't love me. Like, I was like, I'm autistic, mom. Like, I had just recently got my diagnosis back in April of 2024. So it's like, I was coming to terms with that. I hadn't told her at first because when I told her about my ADHD diagnosis, she didn't accept it. So I was like, why would she accept my autism diagnosis? And even when I went to go get diagnosed, even the psychologist that did it, she asked me about my relationship with my mom. And I told her, like, my mom has scapegoated me. She has, because at the time that's what I had figured out. She kept blaming me for all of her problems, and I'm like, she kept blaming me as if I was utilizing her for her money. And it's like, I had borrowed $2,000 from her in 2023, but that was when I told y'all, when my job, when they was messing with my money when I was on maternity leave. So it's like, but that was the only money I had asked her for, and that was just to make sure that me and Mila could keep our housing. And everything just got messed up. So I didn't ask her for anything else after that. She did buy my daughter a crib and everything, and she did buy stuff for my daughter, which was grateful. I was grateful for it, but I wasn't asking her for anything. I wasn't asking her for money. I didn't ask her to take care of my daughter. She said that she wanted to. I let her do that. When she was done doing it, I didn't fight her on it. I just let her go. And still, she will not respect me. And so after that, she told me, like, okay, I won't show up here like this again. And I was like, okay, good. And I told her, like, I said, I don't mind you having a relationship with your granddaughter. I don't want to take that away from you. I said, but if you want to see her, you're going to have to call me. Like, you're going to have to set it up. I'm not calling you. I'm not maintaining the relationship for you. And part of the reason why I did that is because when I was younger, I didn't have people in my life that came to visit me and called me. And my mom always used to say, the relationship is not the child's responsibility. It's not the child's responsibility to maintain the relationship. It's the adults. So it's like, I'm just taking the advice that she gave me when I was a child, because she told me when it came to my dad that it wasn't my responsibility to maintain our relationship. So I'm telling you, as the grandparent, of a 1-year-old at the time that it's not my daughter's responsibility, nor is it mine to maintain this relationship that you claim that you want to have. So I'm like, I don't mind bringing her to you. I don't mind y'all spending time together, but you gonna have to let me know. You're gonna have to call me and tell me like, hey, I'm free this weekend. Can I see the baby? And that's all I wanted. I wasn't asking for nothing else, and she couldn't even do that. And once I realized that she wasn't gonna call or nothing, because they thought that I was just gonna go back to doing what I was doing before. I wasn't. I was serious this time, and so I just stopped talking to them. And I hadn't seen her since. The crazy thing is that I knew that was gonna happen before it happened. Before she pulled up on me, I had a dream. I had a dream about it. I had a dream we were in like some sort of like hotel room or something. It was me and my mom, and she was giving me the nastiest look. Just such like disgust on her face. And I just looked at her and I got on my knees and I was like, Mom, are you disowning me? And she didn't answer me. She just turned around and she just faced the opposite direction. She just turned her back on me. And all I remember in the dream is that I just turned around and I got up off the floor. I turned around and I left out this whatever door, the door, the exit door. And I just started running. I ran through the lobby and then I just started running down the street. And I just started running. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't turn back. And then 2 days later, my mom pulls up on me. And then I never speak to her again after that. So that wasn't a coincidence. But I don't think but the reason why I'm saying all of this is like, I don't think it's a coincidence that I start having all these issues with my family where my sister stops fucking with me. She stops calling me, stops coming around. This at the same time that I'm having these issues at this job and I'm being harassed at my apartment complex. There was one point in time before, like, I hadn't seen my sister, but she did call me one day while I was at work. And she was telling me how her boss was being mean to her and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's almost like she wanted me to talk about what was going on with me too. And I just didn't. I was just like, oh, I'm sorry that that's happening to you. Because I just learned the hard way, like, you got to stop complaining about stuff and stop telling everybody what's going on. So I didn't feel the need to. Because it's like, what difference does it make? It's not like you really care. You're not even around. I thought something had happened to my mama when she called. Because I'm like, why are you calling me in the middle of the day when she knew I was at work? She just wanted to call to complain. But I think she was fishing for information. So fast forward to the end of last year when my car disappeared. When my car disappeared, when it got repossessed, because I don't feel like it was a repossession at that point. Somehow the bank is in on that, and I'll have to try to figure out a way to get into that later too. But so I didn't go to work on December 18th, or I didn't go to work on December 19th, and everybody at the job was calling me, and I blocked everyone. So after that happened in the morning, something told me, go get dressed. Because I still had my pajamas on. Because I was chilling. Because I was like, you know what? I may not have a lot of money right now, but I knew I was going to get one more paycheck. But I was like, I don't know what's about to happen. But I was resting because I was like, after everything that I had been through, I was like, I deserve to relax. So something told me, go get dressed. So I went and threw just, a long sleeve shirt on and some leggings. Got comfortable. I'm still comfortable, but dressed nonetheless. Washed my face. Pulled my hair up in a bun, and I got on the floor, and I pulled out my tarot cards, and I started pulling to see what was going on, because I was like something's about to happen. So I'm in the middle of doing a reading, and then I hear a car door close. I figured it was probably the police, and it was. I'm putting my cards away. I get the knock on the door. It's 2 police officers. One is a regular police officer, and one is a mental health officer. So at first I thought that the job sent the police to my house. So I was like, when I answered the door, they said, they asked me, "Are you Kayla?" And I'm like, "Yes, yep, that's me." And they're like, "Your sister called us to do a welfare check on you because you just stopped showing up to work." And I was like, "My sister?" I haven't talked to my sister in months at this point, over 6 months at this point. She had unfriended me on Facebook, so I blocked her on there, and I deleted her off of my Instagram and everything. So it's like, at this point, like, they don't have no access to my social media or nothing. So I haven't spoken to her at all. I haven't blocked her number at all. I didn't block her yet. So I was like, my sister. So it's like, so she didn't call me to check on me. She sent the police to my house. So they were saying, like, oh, well, they were just worried, saying, like, just, wanted to see if you were okay. And I was like, I'm fine. And I told them, I said, that job didn't, I was like, they made it very clear to me that they did not want me there. So I don't see why anyone is tripping about me not being there anymore. And I told them, like, well, some recent circumstances happened. I didn't go into detail. That's all I said. Some recent circumstances happened in my life, and, I just decided to let the job go. I just decided to let it go because I was like, they didn't want me there, and I was like, they made it very clear that they didn't care for me. So, it was just some stuff just recently happened, and I just let it go. And I was like, I don't feel the need to call them and talk to them or anything. Like, they already know what's up. And even the officers agreed. They're like, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, if they didn't really want you there, I don't see why they would care. I said, but because I had just gotten off the phone with Michael as well before this happened. And he was saying to me, like, well, they're talking about sending the police to your house and all this other stuff. Like, I guess they were on the phone with him too. That's how I know he was a part of it, because I'm like, why are they calling you 20 times in the day? I'll get into that in the next video with him. But the fact that my sister called the police on me, or called the police to come to my house to do a welfare check with a mental health officer, but she didn't call me herself to check on me, was a red flag in itself. So, and then after that, the next week was Christmas. My sister sends me a text message saying, like, Merry Christmas to you, Michael and Mila. I ignored it. And then Christmas Day, the family group chat starts. Everybody, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I already done blocked some of these people. But I was like, after this, these people have not called me or checked on me all year long. I have been going through it. My mom has been going around slandering me all year long. And now all of a sudden on Christmas Day, you want to add me into the family group text talking about some Merry Christmas. So I immediately blocked everybody and took myself out of them group chats, because I was like, absolutely not. You don't get to do that, to try to be around now or try to pretend like we're a family when I needed help, when I needed support, and they were gone. No one called me or texted me, but it seems like y'all phones work just fine now that it's Christmas. And to wrap this up, and I'll get this into the next video too, and I'll talk about my ex and his family. The reason why I know that my family is involved in this is because after the domestic violence situation I had with my ex, in the court documents that my ex put, the copies that I have, he put in there that he contacted my sister. And my sister didn't even like him. So the fact that they were working together, my sister never called me again. She never called me. She never checked on me. She never got my side of the story. They just got together and now, oh yeah, she's mentally ill. And I've said this before, and you guys can go watch that video where I said your ops been linking up. Abusers always protect other abusers. My family's not on the fact that my family wasn't on my side. They weren't. This is my family. And he calls one of them and they're just like, oh yeah, she's crazy. No. None of them called me. None of them asked me my side of the story. Nothing. No one tried to reach out. I mean, I know they was blocked, but the fact that they would do all of that, they would get together. Who set me up? They don't even like him. They was probably gonna try to set him up later on too, because he kept trying to say, if you need a place to stay, you can stay with me. I'm not staying with you. I remember what happened the last time I stayed with him, and I'll get into that in the next video. So that's that on my family. I don't know what they're doing now. I have no idea. I'm out the loop. But I definitely think some family secrets are going to start coming out about what they've done, because it's just ridiculous at this point. But thank you for watching. Please share this content. Please get people to watch the other ones, because I mean, I've been working for almost 2 years trying to figure out what's been going on in my life and who's been behind orchestrating things and causing chaos in my life. So please send this to your friends, to your family. Please get my story out there so I can get some closure here. That's all I want. I just want closure so I can get my life back. Because, like I said, I'm temporarily unhoused. I've been this way for just about 7 weeks now. And I want my life back, and I want to be with my daughter. I want to be with my daughter. I want my life back. I want to be able to be free from this. And I don't know why these people got a hold and this grip on me like this, but, I'm just tired, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, every time doing these videos is kind of hard, because it's like I gotta remember and reminisce on all the pain, because this is painful. But it's got to be said, and I'm speaking my truth, and they can say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, they did this to themselves. Okay, they put this upon themselves by betraying me, because they didn't have to. They chose to. I don't know if I don't know if my family got paid, or if what they were expecting was some sort of payout or something. Because ultimately what they want is for me to crash out in some way, shape, or form, so I can end up in jail. And if I don't end up in jail, they want me to end up in a psych ward. That's what the gang stalking and all of that, like, that's what that is designed to do. It's designed to make you feel, they want you to listen to everyone else, because everyone else is telling you that you're mentally ill and that you're crazy, and they want you to start to believe it. But it's like, I know I'm not crazy. I know what I experienced, and that's why I stay silent. That's why I keep it all under wraps, because it's like I don't need I don't need to go out and prove myself. These people are proving every single day that the gang stalkers, because y'all, my gang stalkers this morning was out talking to one another. It was crazy. And the dude, they was complaining about it not being shady enough. Like how, oh, it's so hard to find shade out here, and it's just like they have to be out there. But that's their only job, because when I tell you the gang stalkers that I have right now, the majority of them that I see, they're all older. They're all over the age of 50. And so they really don't have nothing to do. I'm just going to assume that the guy in the red blazer that's there all the time, I'm going to assume that he's a retired person, because nothing else makes sense at this point. Because I'm like, he literally comes out and does, like, they don't have nothing else to do. One of the other guys, he's old and he got a beer belly, you know, and the other guy, he's just old and he just looks decrepit. So it's just like, you know, I'm like, who are these gang stalkers? Like, these are old people. They have nothing else to do. That's why I said, go watch my video about your gang stalkers have no lives. Like, because they don't. But thank you for watching. I know these are long, but they're going to have to be. The next video, I'm going to talk about my ex. That one might have to be in 2 parts too, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to him. I could say a lot more about my family, but it's really no point, because, you know, they just have always been abusive and narcissistic. I've always been the scapegoat, and I think that they were using me to try to get ahead some way, get some money or something. I don't know what they were planning on. I don't know what they were going to get from destroying me, but I'm not going out like that. I ain't going out like no punk. And I gotta try to see this to the end. I don't know how much longer this is gonna be. I've been fighting, and I've been trying my best to get through this. It's been a very long time, and I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Even to the point, like yesterday, I just got sick out of nowhere. Like, I was trying to stay in one of the spots where I have Wi-Fi so that I could call my baby, but I just could not. I was like, I gotta leave. I was like, I gotta go and lay down. I'm so tired, and I just felt icky. And I don't feel that much better today. I feel better, but I still feel icky, and I'm probably gonna have to take it easy. So, you know, but I wanted to at least try to get this out because I need to. So I'm gonna talk about my ex in the next one. And thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. It's your girl K Divine. Bye.